Picture this, you're walking down one of our many beautiful and interesting British high streets. A quirky independent store that sells cute knickknacks has disappeared. There's an empty shop where the independent sweet shop was, and the local coffee shop has been replaced with a Costa. And standing there underneath a white, luminescent, glowing light is a H&M or a COS. Or in other stories, or an Arquette, or maybe a monkey. Different shopfront signs with slightly different branding. All these companies are owned by the same conglomerate, the H&M Group. It's quietly become an entire retail ecosystem, and once you see it, you'll notice how the modern high street starts to look less like a collection of different businesses and more like a monopoly of these shops wearing different but similar disguises. They all have massive windows, endless discounts, new collections every week, a sale that somehow never fucking ends. So here's my conspiracy theory. What if fast fashion didn't just adapt to the collapse of the high street? What if it caused it? Today we're going to be talking about H&M becoming one of the most powerful forces in modern retail. We're also going to be talking about why every city centre shopping plaza is beginning to look identical. And we're talking about whether fast fashion has quietly transformed cheap clothes into something much bigger. Get your conspiracy hats on, lads. Gender neutral lads, of course. We're going for a deep dive into this topic. So, how did H&M take over? Also, this is no hate to H&M. I will buy H&M secondhand. I like one of their brands, Weekday, a lot. I liked it more a few years ago, and we'll get into that. But no hate to H&M. It's just something that I've noticed and that we're going to talk about. I'm also going to be speaking in allegedlys, and I'm going to be speaking in potentiallys and all of that because I don't want to get sued. Tee-hee! Nobody sue me, please. I'm not being mean. I'm just stating a conspiracy theory that I've been thinking about and ruminating on. So, H&M, where did it begin? Started in good old Sweden back in 1947, and it was originally called, I'm going to butcher these names, Hens, which literally means hers. And then it merged with a men's retailer called, I'm going to put the name up because I cannot say that because I have dyslexia, but it became Hens and Maritzi. So that is why it became H&M. And the company wasn't just clothes, it was scaling. And by the late 90s and early 2000s, H&M figured out something that traditional retailers had not done before. In the olden days, people would buy fashion for all 4 seasons, so they'd only buy really a spring collection, they'd only sell a spring collection, an autumn collection, maybe a winter collection, and then sprinkled in that there'll be a summer collection, but the 4 seasons really ruled the roost when it came to clothes dropping. So H&M helped normalize something completely different. They help normalize new arrivals each week, tiny trend cycles, constant rotation. And the goal isn't just to sell you clothes, it's to make your current clothes feel old. You walk into H&M and suddenly the jumper that you bought 3 months ago just feels so outdated. And you can reinvent yourself in H&M just all for the price of $24.99. Independent shops can't operate at that price point because they have a totally different way that they're manufacturing clothes, and they just can't compete often against these larger corporations. And once consumers got used to the low prices, older and more independent stores and shops shut down, and the high street entered an impossible competition of identity versus a global supply chain, craftsmanship versus logic, humans versus their system. This is very dramatic and I'm very much enjoying it. Maybe I'll put a dun 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 soundtrack in the background as well, because that's the energy this video is giving. I think this fact that H&M own a lot of shops on the high street and they've been buying up a lot of shops goes quite unnoticed because they're still operating seemingly to the average customer as very independent shops. Once you deep dive into it a bit and you scratch the surface, I'm really seeing the similarities between each of these shops and all of them just becoming into a version of H&M. So let's go through all of the brands that are H&M. COS, H&M Group, and other stories, H&M Group. Arquette, H&M Group. Monkey, H&M Group. Weekday, H&M Group. It is, quite frankly, a brilliant strategy because each brand is targeting a different identity and they have a different consumer that they are aiming for. H&M is for affordable basic trends because it's for minimalistic and more like higher level clothes and they're a bit more expensive. Arket is for really high top end price points, and Other Stories is for the more middle class, like floral aesthetics. Weekday is the edgy East London type energy that everyone wants to have, or it used to be, because as someone who enjoys more alternative fashion, Weekday used to be sick, and I've talked about this quite a few times. Weekday was so good until it really became part of H&M Group. It just feels like H&M light. Sometimes I walk into a Weekday and just like see a gander of what they've got and what's going to be available secondhand, or if I need to buy like a pair of jeans to consciously consume, because they do really good jeans in Weekdays still somehow. But it all just looks like H&M, and you go into a H&M store and it honestly has the same clothes in it. They have different music in the shops, they have different price points. Underneath, they're all the same corporate machine. That's what makes my little conspiracy theory so interesting, because they create an illusion of customer's choice, but they also are concentrating their power on fewer and fewer companies until they will take over, potentially, eventually, the whole of the British high street. I think the high street is diverse because of all the different logos. Economically, it's increasingly centralized. And I mean, once you see it, I don't think you can unsee it, because now when I walk into a store, I just feel like I'm in a H&M, just in a different font. This is cause spring, summer.
So I have two things, a t-shirt and the famous barrel leg trousers. Still obsessed with them, wear my other ones so much. I got them in my usual size 34. I'm 5'5" and a size 8 to 10. And the other thing I got was a white tee. I feel like white tees don't last. I get them stained. They just go a funny colour after a while. Box fresh, nice and cropped. I feel like I'm going to wear this a lot. Here they are in all their glory. I am as obsessed with them in white as I am in the other colours. I'm very much looking forward to wearing them. Probably will be stained within 5 minutes. Okay, I might as well show you the tee, but we're not going to wear this together. I'm just showing you for purely educational value. I love the fit of it. I mean, obviously, I am not going to wear this together.
I'll stop her there because for the purpose of this video, we're concentrating on those white trousers. Because at H&M, this is another video, totally different store, bear in mind, H&M haul. The exact same trousers being sold at H&M, and it's not just the fact that they are both white trousers, it's the fact that they have very similar construction. But all of these shops actually share a few common things that you'll see in the architecture of the spaces. Minimalist rails, muted colours, Scandinavian lighting, and this is happening across the world. It's not just UK H&M and Monkey and Weekday shops that have this. This happens into anywhere I go into Europe. H&M is always gonna be the same, and that is such a weird phenomenon because it's meaning that all high streets are becoming the same. I am focusing mainly on the UK in this video, but I do want to highlight the very similar layout to these H&M stores. They're not making them unique for the locations that they're in, which is such a shame. So this is the new H&M Brighton store.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye. So I bought these earrings because I wanted to be one of the first people to purchase something to get the gift card, and they also gave me Audrey's chocolates as well, which are amazing. If you know Audrey's chocolates, they're incredible. But yeah, the queue, crazy. I'm on my way home now. I couldn't actually record much in there because it was just crazy, so I'll take you back another day to go into detail, but honestly, it's huge. It's just, if you're an OG Brightoner, you know that's where the old Topshop was. I didn't actually see if you could go upstairs because I just wanted to get my purchase, get my gift card and get out of there. But yeah, really good store.
This is a H&M that's opened in Melbourne.
Welcome to one of the biggest H&M store in the world, which is located in Melbourne. It's indeed one of the biggest in the world, occupying 3 floors and almost 5,000 square meters of the heritage-listed GPO building. And it even has elevators in it. So basically the store has 3 floors. So ground floor is for the ladies section and also accessories, where you can find like shoes, bags, necklace, bracelets, and a lot more. Well, you can also find a ladies section on the mezzanine floor, which also provides maternity wear and sub-lingerie. And as for the first floor, it's basically for men's section, and also you can find kids section over there. I mean, the kid stuffs here are just too adorable. And what's interesting is that they also got this H&M home for you to see a lot of home stuff, you know, like home decors for your house or apartment. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the older I get, the more comfortable I am in the home section, you know? I mean, it's just so exciting, you know, like to imagine yourself having your own place and then you get to decorate and design it with these stuff. So I guess that's all about my little H&M tour, and you know what? I still ended up leaving the store with empty hands, so I'll come back soon.
Same clothes, same like minimalistic rails. Of course, the Melbourne one had a slightly different architecture, but that's based on where the store is located. But they look so incredibly similar. You could literally imagine that one of those, like the Brighton store, was on top of the Melbourne store, and you wouldn't bat an eyelash. And it just means that it's really starting to reflect global retail strategies. And it also feeds into the fact that fast fashion clothes across the globe are just trying to sell us the same shit continuously. It's not like you're discovering something new or unique when you visit these stores in different cities, which you do get with more independent shops. The timing of H&M conglomerate and group taking over is perfect. Unfortunately, because social media creates the perfect customer. It's risen alongside social media. And before Instagram, most people would repeat outfits constantly. Nobody seemed to care, but now your clothes are part of your online aesthetic. I really like how this creator rewears parts of her outfit throughout the week, but it does show that with the outfit of a day for a week concept, it has made me think about how we actually consume. I feel like if you were to post an outfit of the day video now, it would still pop off on socials just because people are so intrigued. But it also makes you think that you kind of have to wear a different outfit every single day, which you honestly don't. It feels like there's often constant pressure to refresh ourselves visually, and fast fashion becomes the perfect economic engine for that culture. It's cheap enough to buy impulsively and trendy enough to feel current. It's disposable, and you wear it once, you post it, and then you move on. And that is the system that H&M has mastered. But can fast fashion even be ethical? H&M has spent years trying to position itself as a more green, kind of like sustainable brand. They have a recycling scheme, a conscious collection, they have a sustainability campaign, and they have green branding everywhere to like subliminally tell you that they're eco-conscious with their clothes. We need to do a full video on how to watch out for greenwashing, and I'm doing that video and it was coming out Friday because H&M seems to greenwash a lot. I want you to realise how to look out for it. I just think it's such a shame because the high street doesn't feel unique anymore. I think it's really... Okay, so I know I was really dramatic at the beginning saying like H&M conspiracy theory. Obviously, there's a lot of other economic factors in play, especially within the UK and our cost of living crisis, and the fact that people aren't buying clothes in person that much anymore. And we're not going out and supporting our high street. But fast fashion is capitalising off that. The modern high street is increasingly feeling more temporary and transactional and corporate. There's way less randomness now, less personality, and you just don't discover shops like you used to. I discovered, and this is like blast from the past, when I was like 14 and I had my first job and I wanted to go out to the shops, I'd go with my mum to our local like shopping centre, and I discovered a Punky Fish there. And this was before Punky Fish had transformed into like the company that it is now and sells online. I discovered that shop and I was in love with it. It was an alternative girl haven. But those types of shops rarely pop up on the high street anymore unless they have a conglomerate backing them. H&M didn't like create this system entirely on their own. but they have absolutely thrived in it. So is H&M taking over the high street? In a way, yes. Not through some secret conspiracy or not through hidden meetings in underground fashion bunkers. I wrote that. Sometimes I write things in my script. Forget I've said it and then I make myself laugh because I leave like weeks between writing scripts. But that's such a weird thought of all these people being like, underground fashion bunker. So through scale, speed and data, the real conspiracy that's actually happened is the fact that modern retailing rewards only big companies enough to allow them to thrive. And it's not rewarding the smaller, more independent shops. And maybe that's why people feel nostalgia for British high streets, because they weren't just places to buy things, they reflected the community. And H&M just happens to be one of the companies capitalising off the fact that there is no longer a culture to the British high streets, but just the fact that it's a conglomerate that can make money. My next video coming up is on how to spot greenwashing, because it is hard to see, but once you see it, you don't unsee it. I would love to hear your thoughts about this. I feel like I've ended this video on a really sad note. Like, it's a pain that H&M are taking over the British high street, but there are projects to rejuvenate it. And I think within some British high streets, there is people who are wanting to keep and like maintain the culture within the high street. I think this was a really interesting conversation to have. I can't wait to chat to you about it in the comments. And if there's any videos you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments and I'll make a note and I'll write a script about it. And then I'll forget what I've said when I go to film a few weeks later and then make myself laugh with an underground fashion bunker. I'll see you in the next video.